David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the breaking news right now. Authorities on the scene at this hour. A bank standoff, an active bomb threat. SWAT teams on the scene. And a possible hostage situation unfolding right now. Also breaking late today, we learned President Trump's plan to use $1.8 billion in taxpayer money to potentially pay those who attacked the Capitol on January 6th. That plan now scrapped after a revolt from Republicans. At this hour, the high-stakes primaries underway in several states. In Los Angeles, the reality star competing against the mayor of L.A. and the closely watched governor's race in California. While across the country in New Jersey tonight, the case of the congressman who hasn't been seen in months. President Trump has now endorsed him. Tonight, the passenger plane diverted a passenger trying to open the exit door. Authorities say mid-flight what he then did when taken to his seat and the struggle. The desperate search for a special needs student who vanished during a class trip while swimming. We're tracking severe storms across multiple states, possible tornadoes, large hail and damaging winds. And in New York City and parts of the East, temperatures now set to soar. Ginger Z is here. The horrific scene unfolding, a man accused of shooting and killing 6 family members. What authorities are now saying about this. The images coming in tonight, the U.S. military says it has fired a missile on an oil tanker trying to reach Iran. Martha Raddatz with late reporting. In New York, the mystery, men seen emerging from manholes with headlamps. And the new warning now. Tonight, the elaborate drug tunnel discovered running from Mexico right into the U.S., coming up through the floor of a store. The high-speed collision, an Amtrak train with passengers slamming into a truck on the tracks. And America Strong tonight, the beloved Beagles, and what a turn.
Here we go. In you go.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We do begin tonight with the breaking news coming in right now. A major standoff at a bank, what was an active bomb threat in Bakersfield, California. These are the images coming in right now. The suspect making threats, according to authorities. SWAT teams on the scene for some time now, dealing with a potential hostage situation. We're told right now crisis negotiators are talking with the suspect. So let's get right to Melissa Adan with late reporting. Melissa, what have we learned?
David, several city buildings in downtown Bakersfield are currently on lockdown. There is a massive police presence there with the SWAT team, FBI, negotiators, and of course, all of this developing as we are on the air. Police are reporting an active bomb threat ongoing for at least the last 2 hours in what appears to be a hostage situation at a Chase Bank near city buildings. Well, police say there is a male suspect that's inside that bank. He's making bomb threats, but police say they do not know just how many people are involved and inside that bank right now who are trapped. Well, City Hall, police headquarters are on lockdown there as police negotiate with that suspect right now. Of course, police are asking the public to steer clear from downtown Bakersfield as they're working with this incredibly developing situation. David.
The unfolding situation in Bakersfield tonight. Melissa Adan from California, thank you. Also breaking tonight, we learned late today that President Trump's plan to use $1.8 billion in taxpayer money to potentially pay those who attacked the Capitol on January 6th has now been scrapped after a revolt from Republicans. But tonight, some Republicans are still sounding somewhat skeptical. They want a promise on this. Rachel Scott on the Hill.
Are you going to drop the fund?
Tonight, faced with a growing revolt from Senate Republicans, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche arriving on Capitol Hill.
Is it dropped?
Announcing the administration is scrapping the president's $1.8 billion so-called weaponization fund that would have been paid for by taxpayers to compensate allies, including January 6 rioters.
We are not moving forward with the fund.
Oh, not moving forward ever.
Correct.
It comes just 24 hours after President Trump told our John Carl he would abide by a recent court ruling, putting the fund on hold, saying we are subject to the courts at this moment. That's what it is. But that wasn't enough to satisfy Republicans.
You want to see him drop it completely?
Yes, I've made that very clear.
If he doesn't, we're back to square one.
Tonight, Blanche says getting rid of the fund would not impact another part of the administration's settlement with the IRS, barring tax audits on President Trump and his family. Democrats labeling it blanket immunity.
Simply put, you just gave the president and his family a tax immunity to the tune of about $100 million.
Not true.
And so, David, tonight, that $1.8 billion fund, some of which could have gone to January 6 rioters, has been scrapped. Republicans wanted a public reversal, and tonight the acting attorney general says it will not move forward. David.
Rachel Scott live up on the Hill for us. Rachel, thank you. Meantime, tonight, this high-stakes primaries we're watching across 6 states in the U.S. Voting tonight in California, Iowa, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, and South Dakota, and in Los Angeles. The reality star competing against the mayor of L.A. and the closely watched California governor's race. And in New Jersey tonight, the case of the congressman who hasn't been seen in months. President Trump has now endorsed him. Trevor Ault starts tonight with the reality star against the mayor in L.A.
Tonight, voters in California hitting the polls in high-stakes primaries for governor and mayor of Los Angeles, as reality star Spencer Pratt is making his push to run the country's second-largest city.
I just want people to feel safe.
Pratt rose to fame on the early 2000s MTV show The Hills.
I say things that I feel.
His provocative campaign has frequently used reposted AI-generated ads. The registered Republican is running as an independent, trying to unseat Mayor Karen Bass, who's faced fierce criticism for her response to last year's devastating fires.
No, I haven't always got it right. There's more work to do.
Bass says she doesn't think Pratt has a clue how to be mayor. Pratt's Pacific Palisades home burnt down in the fires. He has since been criticized for ads implying he's been living in a trailer.
This is where I live. They let my home burn down.
He later clarified he's actually staying in a luxury hotel, and he has been blunt about wanting to clear out the city's homeless.
What are your plans for the over 40,000 homeless in Los Angeles?
Yeah, they're not homeless. They're drug addicts.
The latest polls show a virtual three-way tie between Pratt, Bass, and progressive council member Nithya Raman. Also on the ballot tonight, the race for who will succeed Gavin Newsom as governor of the country's most populous state. The frontrunner appears to be Democrat and former HHS Secretary Javier Becerra. But not far behind him are Republican and former Fox News host Steve Hilton, who's endorsed by the president, and billionaire Democrat Tom Steyer, who wants more taxes on the rich.
Californians can't afford to live here anymore.
Voters today have been heading to polls in 6 states. In Iowa, Democrats will choose a Senate candidate, hoping to flip a Republican Senate seat this fall. And the mystery in New Jersey is Republican Congressman Tom Kean hasn't been seen in 3 months. The president has now endorsed him, but voters have been given no explanation, only that he's addressing a medical issue and on the road to a full recovery.
And, David, there has been a constant stream of voters here in Los Angeles with all eyes on that crowded mayoral race, including Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt. Now, because this is a primary, it means that this race, the governor's race, will then become top two vote getters against each other head-to-head in November's general election. David.
That's right. The top 2 vote getters, regardless of party. We'll see again in November. Trevor Ault at polling station tonight. Trevor, thanks. We're learning more tonight about a passenger plane diverted. Authorities say a passenger on that plane trying to open the exit door mid-flight, what he then allegedly did when taken to his seat in the struggle. Here's Victor Oquendo.
Tonight, a man in custody restrained by passengers and crew after authorities say he tried to open the exit door mid-flight. It happened on a Frontier flight that left Puerto Rico for Chicago just before midnight Sunday. According to an affidavit, the flight was forced to divert to Miami after 51-year-old Juan Gabriel Reyes attempted to open the exit doors of the aircraft while it was still in flight, stating that he wanted to exit the aircraft. And when told to sit, he ignored those orders and walked towards the front of the aircraft and attempted to make entry into the pilot's quarters. Reyes was allowed to return to his seat. Moments later, passengers seen holding him down after he allegedly began choking an off-duty flight attendant who was seated next to him. Josh Longgood is the man in the jiu-jitsu t-shirt seen holding Reyes down.
I instantly just kind of jumped in and safely put him against the wall and restrained him. So I'm thankful that I was sitting right in front of him.
Please keep the aisles clear.
The latest incident, just one of more than 680 unruly passenger incidents reported so far this year, according to the FAA. Reyes is in custody facing a battery charge. The FBI is investigating and potentially pursuing federal charges. David?
Victor Oquendo with us. Thank you, Victor. Tonight, the desperate search for a special needs student who vanished during a class trip while swimming along the Jersey shore. Here's Matt Rivers now.
Tonight, a mother's anguish. as drones, choppers, and first responders search for her son with special needs, who disappeared into the surf Monday during a class trip to the Jersey Shore.
As far as I know, no staff member got into the water with any of the children.
DeVoris Carter's family says the 14-year-old was with a chaperone and a family member on the trip, but when that family member went to get something to eat, DeVoris went into the water with several other children, while staff watched from shore.
Notify the Coast Guard. We have one unaccounted for in the water at this time.
There were no lifeguards present at all, and they still allowed these children that special needs to get into the water.
The other children were rescued by a police officer. The search for DeVoris resumed this morning. The incident comes just days after a 12-year-old boy from Long Island drowned during a rafting trip on the Lehigh River in the Poconos. David, that rafting death still under investigation. Meanwhile, DeVoris' school in a statement saying that this is a devastating tragedy and that they are heartbroken. David?
Matt Rivers tonight. Matt, thank you. Tonight we're tracking severe storms across multiple states, possible tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, and temperatures, meanwhile, are set to soar in New York City and parts of the east. So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z with us here tonight. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, David, we've already seen a reported tornado in Horse Creek, Wyoming, and there are several others on the map under this severe thunderstorm watch from Scottsbluff, Nebraska, up to Devil's Lake, including Pierre and Rapid City, South Dakota. So I want to take you through what's going to happen the next couple of days, because that's just through 10 p.m. tonight. We are going to see the storms blow up from Fargo to Aberdeen tomorrow. Hail is a big thing, right? But you could see an isolated tornado and damaging wind anywhere in that level 2 out of 5. On Thursday, it's through the south. And then we get the front end of this high pressure system that's blocking it from moving east. That'll warm us 15 degrees above average. David?
Ginger Z with us tonight. We'll see you first thing in the morning on GMA. Thanks, Ginger. We're going to turn now to the other news tonight and a horrific scene unfolding in Iowa. A man accused of shooting and killing his 6 family members, including 4 at home. And tonight, authorities are calling this an act of evil. Here's Rhiannon Alley.
Tonight, police are investigating a series of homicides, all members of the same family, across a tight-knit Iowa community just south of Cedar Rapids.
I simply do not have the words. This act of evil and what it has done to our community.
Police say around noon Monday, officers in Muscatine responded to reports of several shots fired.
Got one with a gunshot wound.
4 people were pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect, identified as 52-year-old Ryan Willis McFarland. McFarland fleeing the scene, police discovering 2 more victims in separate locations. Officers finally tracking McFarland to a trail along the Mississippi River. As police closed in, he took his own life.
David, investigators have not revealed McFarland's relationship to the victims, but believe the violence might have started from a domestic dispute. David?
Rhiannon Alley, what a horrific story tonight. Thank you. The war in Iran, and tonight the U.S. military says it is now fired on an oil tanker trying to reach Iran. So let's get right to Martha Raddatz with late reporting for us. Martha?
David, U.S. Central Command says the ship, which was empty, ignored repeated warnings over a 24-hour period as it made its way toward Iran's Karg Island. The video released by CENTCOM showing what came next. A Hellfire missile launched from a U.S. warplane into the ship's engine room. The Botswana-flagged oil tanker is now disabled. It is the 6th commercial vessel that the U.S. has disabled as part of the naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. David?
Martha Raddatz live in Washington for us. Martha, thanks as always. Here in New York City tonight, we're learning more about those mystery sightings. Men emerging from manholes in Brooklyn and in Queens with headlamps and shovels. And tonight, hear the new warning. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky now.
Tonight, a mystery underground. New York City police are working to identify the men in this video, wearing waders and carrying flashlights, prying open a manhole in Queens and slipping into the sewer. They're also trying to identify 7 men, some with headlamps and shovels, going into the sewer in Brooklyn and then emerging one by one. One guy almost gets hit by a car. Tonight, police suspect these groups were hunting for valuables.
This happens from time to time, but there are a lot of hazards down there. Unstable surfaces, confined spaces, noxious gases.
Police in the Department of Environmental Protection inspected the sewer system and said they found nothing tampered with, insisting our infrastructure is safe.
Police believe these urban scavengers pose no threat, but David, officials say entering the sewer system is both illegal and extremely dangerous.
David? Dangerous, and those images are a bit unsettling. Aaron, thank you. Tonight we do have new images as well of a drug tunnel recently discovered from Tijuana, Mexico to San Diego. Take a look. Authorities say the elaborate tunnel includes a rail system, lighting, and ventilation. It's almost 2,000 feet long, more than 50 feet underground. Authorities say it came up through the floor of a San Diego store that they say was operating as a front. Authorities seizing drugs, weapons, and cell phones. They believe the tunnel was built by a cartel. 4 suspects under arrest. When we come back tonight, the Amtrak train with more than 200 passengers colliding with a truck. The frightening collision on the tracks, the train slamming into an 18-wheeler. We'll have more on this in just a moment. Also, images tonight, the bear on a rampage, chasing a man through the parking lot, taking him down, and injuring 3 others. The horrific scene, the trooper at a traffic stop when a driver plows into his car, sending him running for his life. And later, you'll want to see this right here tonight. So many of you responding, the Beagles tonight in quite a new turn. We'll have that for you in just a moment. Don't go away. Tonight, a collision between an Amtrak train filled with passengers and an 18-wheeler. The truck driver then rushed to the hospital in Durham, North Carolina. Officials say the 18-wheeler was stuck on the tracks when the crossing arm came down. None of the 235 passengers and crew on the train were hurt. Amtrak says one of the truck's fuel tanks ruptured and leaked diesel. A hazmat team now on the scene tonight. Meantime, overseas, a bear rampage injuring 4 people. This playing out in a residential area in Fukushima, Japan. This is surveillance from a steel company showing the bear chasing a worker, throwing the man to the ground, then running toward the building where the bear attacked another worker. The animal reportedly hurt 2 more people nearby. Japan's bear population, by the way, is surging. 13 people have been killed last year in bear attacks. When we come back here tonight, the state trooper suddenly running for his life at a traffic stop. Also, the famous actor tonight, knighted by King Charles. And we remember a famous coach right here tonight. To the index of other news tonight, dangerous moments for a Kansas highway patrol officer during a traffic stop. A vehicle slamming into the officer's patrol car, sending him running. A second view seen from the patrol car's rear view camera. The highway patrol says the driver was found to be impaired, taken off the road. That officer is okay. The actor Idris Elba is now Sir Idris Elba. King Charles knighting him at a ceremony in Windsor Castle for his charity work, especially on behalf of children. Afterward, posting a video with a soccer jersey right here, sporting his new title. We have 2 passings to note tonight. Hall of Fame coach Rick Adelman. Adelman played for 7 seasons before becoming one of the most winningest coaches in NBA history. 23 seasons, 4 teams, winning 1,042 games. His son David coaches the Denver Nuggets. Rick Adelman was 79. And we have just learned tonight that Grammy-winning singer Peabo Bryson has died. Best known for Disney film hits Beauty and the Beast and Whole New World, so many other songs too. His music spanning generations, his family saying he suffered a stroke. Peabo Bryson was 75. When we come back here tonight, the effort to rescue the Beagles, you've responded, and what's now happened. Finally tonight here, America Strong, the effort to save the Beagles. So many of you at home have responded, trying to find them a home. Tonight, the remarkable effort to save the Beagles. So many of you watching and acting. It was right here we reported on the staggering need. Some 1,500 Beagles removed from the Wisconsin research facility outside Madison. Volunteers transporting the Beagles by bus, by plane. The long line of volunteers holding the dogs. The nonprofits, including Center for a Humane Economy and Big Dog Ranch Rescue, trying to find new homes. After our report, so many of you responded with donations, thousands of adoption applications. And 2 best friends from outside Chicago trying to get the word out too. Eric Noxon and Joey Maslowski have been traveling the country posting about shelter dogs, putting our report in their message.
Hey, we've got a bunch of Beagles coming into the shelter.
They say some 1,500 Beagles have been removed from a Wisconsin research facility. They're looking for new homes for the dogs now. Look at them. Saved by 2 animal rescue organizations.
We are going to go meet them for the first time. Look at them.
So here they are for now.
Even going to their local shelter, Border Tales Rescue, to meet some of the Beagles for themselves.
Hi, sweetie.
They're super curious. They've never experienced like anything. This is insane. There's big ones, there's puppies, there's ones that are very energetic, there's ones that are scared. So these guys are actually going into foster homes today and tomorrow. I'm happy that we can show you guys. These Beagles are safe.
And tonight, word coming in, they're now trying to help 135 more Beagles find new homes. More than 1,600 Beagles now helped. And right here tonight.
How's it going, David?
Those best friends, Eric and Joey.
We definitely encourage you to go to your local animal shelter, visit a dog, take a dog out of their kennel, and just spend some time with them. You'll really start to see how amazing some of these dogs are.
We're just super happy that it started off as a sad story, but it's ending very happy.
That's what we call America Strong. Thanks, guys, for the help, and let's find the rest of them homes. I'm David Muir. I'll see you right back here tomorrow from all of us here. Have a good evening. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.